Okay, so today we're having problems with the brakes on the Toyota. Front brakes are very low on the pads, so we're going to get them removed and replaced. So I've got it jacked up, got axle stand underneath, we loosened nuts off, so we'll get these pulled out. Put them over here. And we'll go through getting all the new pads on, the old pads out, cleaning them up, and show you what they're actually doing inside. So we've got a job tomorrow moving about 6 ton of hardcore. So obviously I don't want to leave these until afterwards because, well, obviously the brakes are the only thing stopping me disappearing down a hill and through someone's wall. So we'll get all these off. Get them all changed out. I always put the tyre under supporting beam just in case the axle stand fails, the jack fails, it's not going to land on me. Right, so we've got the pads here now, and yeah, we're well low on there. I could see what's scraping now. Luckily it hasn't affected any of the disc itself, which can be a problem if you get down to the metal on the discs. Pads, sorry, that you end up scoring the discs and you have to replace the lot. Luckily we haven't done that. It's just, well, as soon as I heard it screeching I stopped, checked it, and obviously that's why we're replacing them now. So the pads are on the way from my supplier. He's going to drop them off for me once I've got these off. So let's get these off and we'll get sorted. So we've got all tools to hand, which is always handy. You're not walking around looking for stuff. You've got everything there, you can just get cracked on, get everything whipped off, and jobs are good and really. So at the back we've got two big 17mm nuts, I think they are, holding on the caliper. So we'll get them removed. It's not been long since I replaced the, well, it's been about a year since I replaced these, but I've done a lot of mileage with them and they've done me well. But everything needs replacing. Everything needs maintaining. I'd rather do it now than have to replace the whole lot in a couple of weeks' time, because I've taken it down too far and I then can't just put discs on. Pads on, sorry. So get everything done now and it's out the way. Forget about it until it needs doing again. So what we've got at the back of here, we've got a retaining clip holding on the two pins that go through the pads. So I'll just take them out. So that's our little metal spring. We don't want to lose that, so I'm going to put that on here by the jack. Then that should allow us to pop these out. Which will then release this pin. So the curved bit is at the bottom, always remember that. And these are the pins that we're releasing that have got the little hole in the end that the locking pin goes through. So we'll knock this one out. They can seize up a little bit, so they can take a bit of hammering to get out, but they do come out. Just give it a little tap, and there she goes. Maybe just get this. Should go through. There we go. So that's the other one out. I always tend to use copper grease just to stop any seizing or any problems you may have like that, because when there's heat involved and water, you're inevitably going to get rust, and copper grease just helps stop everything binding and sticking, and makes it a lot easier to take apart basically at the end of the day. So they just gently slide off. And then we'll just leave that there. As well, right at the edges, we're quite low really on the edge here, which you can see there. So they were needing replacing. It was touching the little notifier here. So yeah, they were down to the edge needing replacing. This one, yeah, it wanted replacing anyway, but it wasn't major. So yeah, I'm going to go around and whip the other side off now, so I'll pause this and I'll turn you back on when the other bits arrive for us to get it back together. Okay then guys, so the pads have arrived. We've got us copper grease. So let's get cracked on and get it all back together. Okay then guys, so we've got the discs, we've got our copper grease. Very important with the copper grease, I always think. So you want to put a bit of copper grease on the threads just at the base, and what that'll do, as you're tightening that in, that'll stop anything seizing up. So first things first, let's get these bolted back on. As so. Goes in a lot easier with the copper grease. It comes off a lot easier when you come to do it a year and a half, 2 years time. There we go. Now let's just crank them up. Make sure nice and tight. As we don't want them coming off when we're travelling down the motorway or wherever else we're going. Last thing you want is a catastrophic brake failure, especially if you're miles away from home and you've no tools with you. I mean, I tend to keep tools with me everywhere I go, just in case, but not everybody does. And so if you're on the motorway, you're going to be very limited with what you can do. So I like to be prepared. And that's that cranked on. There we go. So we get our new brake pads, nice and thick. Very big change for the last ones. As you can see, they're the ones we're putting on, they're the ones we've just taken off. So yeah, definitely in need of replacing, possibly too much in need of replacing. I may have left him a bit too long, but at least I've got them sorted now. So you pop your new plates on, and in the rings we pop our copper grease where the old piston sealed was, all the way around. It's not necessary, but it's just something I like to do just in case there's any problems or anything like that. So just squeeze these right back in. There we go. If they don't go in the first time, don't force them. Just give them another squeeze and pop them right back in. There we go. Fits like a dream. So that's that side in. Now I know some of you will probably shout at me and say, you're not using proper Toyota parts. No, I'm not, because when I'm using the trailers, obviously I go through brakes quite a few, so obviously that then leads me to a big expense. Now, when I've only got 30-35 quid in brakes every time, yeah, I'm gonna go with that because it's a lot cheaper, and it's also a lot more economical on my pocket. So yeah, copper grease again on all the parts that will be moving. Yes, they're not going to bind together because, well, the rubber, and they shouldn't do, but the copper grease just lets it slide a bit easier and stops any problems that may occur. As I'm sure a lot of you have probably had binding brakes, and they works really. I mean, here you may want to get another pair of grips, but I can just about hold that double cylinder in myself. So if you've got strong hands you should be alright, but if not, grab yourself another pair of vice grips or anything like that, and that should do the trick. Okay, so that's them in. Now let's grab the retaining clips and the pins. So we've got a curly retaining clip to hold the brakes in place. We've got a retaining clip for the pins, and then our two retaining pins. Now let's pop a bit of copper grease in this hole and in this one. And remember, you want to line your holes up so they're facing roughly the right direction when they go through. There we go. So that's those pins back in. Now we get this little steel retaining clip and just align the holes up. These are both pretty much there. And then you want your little hook that you have there. That'll hook into the actual caliper. But put one in first. Hook that one in, and just bend this clip until you find that hole and pop it in. So remember, we've got this bit to the bottom, this way around, that hooks under the top pin, down, and pop it in place. So there we go, that's them all replaced. I hope this video has helped some of you that may struggle. I know a lot of you will probably know what you're doing, but if you're just wanting to learn how they're done with a Toyota Hilux, then this should help you with a bit of home mechanicking. It's not something you need a mechanic to do really, but some people choose to, some people choose not to. If you wanted to replace the hubs, well, the disc hubs, it's literally, you just take the caliper straight off, careful of the wire not to bend it, and then the hub, you just tap it either side round all the way around with a hammer. That should pop off, new one on, and it's basically the same process as what we've just gone through. So let me just pull you out and I will show you the final finished piece. So there we go. So you can see, if I grab the light, you can see now I've got our new pads on there with plenty to go at. So yeah, that's that one done for you. So yeah, please comment, rate and subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll catch you later.